Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, welcome to the side event Translating Global SDGs and Targets into Local Action, a Knowledge Management Challenge. This side event to the March session of the post-2015 negotiations on Sustainable Development Goals and Targets is organized jointly by International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges, IAAI, the Academic Council on the United Nations System, ACUN's Vienna Liaison Office, represented by the head Michael Platzer, who is also the president of our organization, IAAI, and the World We Want Policy and Strategy Group, represented today by Juan Chelby, the World We Want coordinator. So, the thematic focus of this side event is, as there is the ongoing discussion in the intergovernmental negotiations on sustainable development goals. Our side event is aiming to shed light on how the knowledge base and information and communication technology infrastructure for multi-stakeholder action and innovative resource mobilization for post-2015 agenda implementation could be built, and shed light on the potential role of Vienna-based UN organizations and their partners in the post-2015 agenda implementation. I will represent the global challenges, the GloCha action networks, ongoing efforts and plans to contribute systematically to post-2015 agenda means of implementation. And we will also discuss how all this together fits together with the work of the World We Want platform, which is really a wealth of information, a real treasure that needs to be also well utilized and strengthened in the post-2015 agenda implementation. The panelists are Mr. Juan Chelby, who is here on behalf of Ravi Kalkara, who is the co-chair of the World We Want Policy and Strategy Group, and he last minute had to cancel his participation here, and we are happy to have you here, Juan. And we will have a video message from John Crawley. He is the head of the Division for Research, Foresight and Policy at the UNESCO Social Sciences and Humanities sector in Paris. We have a video message from him, as we are now starting a very strategic cooperation. And we have Michael Platzer, head of ACUN's Vienna Liaison Office and president of IAAI. Myself, I'm Miroslav Polzer, Secretary General of IAAI. And we are delighted to have with us Joe Robertson from the Citizens Climate Lobby, who is working on similar fields. So perhaps brief information also regarding the thematic focus. It's really about the role of knowledge and how the efforts in this area could be improved as regards the United Nations system. And with Joe we have discussed it. The whole event, the side event, could be somehow today seen as a love declaration to knowledge and to having a culture of knowledge, and also a celebration of the partnerships and the cooperation of our organization with partners who also love this knowledge-based approach to the work and reform of the United Nations system. So with this I will show you the video message of John Crawley.
I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to say a few words in the context of the panel organized by my friend Miroslav Polzer on translating global SDGs and targets into local action, a knowledge management challenge. The reason why this is important for UNESCO connects to every one of the key words in the title. Global SDGs are, of course, for us in UNESCO, a major part of our institutional commitment to the future development framework, and we, like all the specialized UN agencies, will have our role to play in translating those high-level political commitments into concrete action, including at the local level. What is perhaps less obvious in this context is that this constitutes not just an action challenge, not just a challenge of mobilization of resources or a challenge of political commitment, but also a knowledge management challenge. And in this context, I'd like to mention our approach in the UNESCO sector for social and human sciences, which relies very strongly on the idea of connecting research to policy through effective mobilization of knowledge derived from the social and human sciences. This is the ethos, the objective of our program, an intergovernmental social science program called MOST for the management of social transformations. Managing social transformations means understanding what they are and developing means to address them by mobilizing the energies within society appropriately informed by the knowledge available to discuss, analyze, understand and grasp the issues. And this is very much the spirit within which Miroslav Polzer has been trying to mobilize a range of stakeholders around the idea of global change, which involves new ways of thinking about global sustainability challenges, new ways of mobilizing stakeholders, including through new modes of financial support to UN programs, and new connections between actors on the ground. One of the interesting and exciting challenges in this regard is the organization of a music contest in the context of UNFCCC COP21, which UNESCO is collaborating with a view to organizing in December 2015 in Paris a award ceremony showcasing the music videos, the production by young people around the world that expresses their understanding of the nature of the challenges of climate change and provides a basis, not the only basis, but one possible basis for new modes of social action in the face of the multidimensional challenges of climate change. More generally, what we're trying to do, and here I'm very grateful for the opportunity offered by Miroslav Polzer's initiatives to join with him in some new ways of looking at rather familiar problems, is the more general question of how initiatives such as those, bringing young people in contact with social science networks and other stakeholder networks to consider ways of acting against global climate change, can change our perspectives and in particular produce new narratives. Climate change is not simply a technical problem to be solved. It is also an enduring condition with which humans as a whole, in what it is now fashionable to call the Anthropocene, must live. And in that context, one defined by a very fundamental change in the way in which we need to think about ourselves as participants in the future of the planet as a whole. In that context, we need not just new solutions, but new ways of thinking about the very nature of the problems. I'm really very pleased to be involved in this process. We will work very closely with Miroslav Polzer to take it forward, in particular through the medium of a workshop we'll be organizing in Paris at the end of April to discuss options to move forward towards UNFCCC COP21. And I look forward with great interest to the outcomes of your discussion here in New York today, which will help us shape the agenda that will be relevant to the shared and very challenging challenge of translating global SDGs and targets into local action. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, John Crowley, UNESCO, the Division for Social Transformations, Foresight and Intercultural Dialogue, it's where he is working in. Yeah, so we've seen also in this presentation a strong commitment to knowledge-based reform and knowledge-based global action. And with this video message of John Crowley, we tried to build a bridge between UNESCO as the one UN entity who has the mandate to work on education, science and culture, to connect with the work here, which has as a slogan a transformative agenda. But that really, if we look into transformation, we need a better understanding about these global interdependencies, the dynamics of socio-economic systems and also natural systems that we really will find the right intervention logics, and that's the aim here of this workshop, to find new ways to build this knowledge base, new ways to connect with the work of UNESCO and other agencies, and also to mobilize the financial resources that this kind of action will be more appreciated and enabled. So with this, I will come to my presentation, if you allow one. Okay, to present you what the Global Challenges Action Network is doing in terms of systemic innovation in support of the post-2015 agenda, and also as a follow-up to the Rio+20 UN Conference on Sustainable Development. First, introductory information. International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges is a UN ECOSOC and UN DPI accredited civil society organization based in Klagenfurt am Wörthersee in Austria. And this organization has spearheaded the setting up of a Global Challenges GloCha Action Network, and you see here the logo, which stands for the first three characters of global and challenges, so that's where GloCha comes from. And this network is a trans-institutional global multi-stakeholder partnership for post-2015 agenda implementation. It has been developed by global youth leaders, future studies experts and public sector innovators in the context of Rio+20 Issues Cluster on Innovation and the Rio+20 Global Youth Music Contest. And we have presented this, our partnership and our action network, at the 6th session of the Open Working Group on Sustainable Development Goals in December 2013. The topic was UN system partnering with civil society on resource mobilization for sustainable development. So you should look these different activities and events that we have into an integral way, because it's multifaceted, multidimensional, and only if you look at all these mosaic stones together, then you really see the intervention logic and its transformative added value that it can deliver to the UN system and post-2015 agenda. So if we are talking about local action and how these global sustainable development goals and targets can be translated into local action, if we look at young people and local communities, what are the systemic prerequisites for these type of stakeholders, young global citizens and local communities, to get engaged in the transformative post-2015 agenda? And what is the UN able to deliver based on its institutional logic and DNA, and what added value can a Global Challenges Action Network provide to these UN efforts? We've had for a general stock taking and systemic analysis, we've had a side event in January to the stock taking session of the post-2015 negotiations, and the title was Towards a Transformative Post-2015 Agenda. And there we've said that IAI, and it's not our idea, but also the global environmental outlook or the climate change discussion and so showed that the existing global governance structures are not effective enough, and that global community is not achieving targets for collaborative action that it sets multilaterally within UN system because of its nation state focus and limited connections with the citizens and with local actors. And our organization stands for a transformative post-2015 agenda, where this kind of actors get engaged, get positive feedback, financial incentives, and different types of incentives that make pro-social, pro-global public good behavior more attractive, and thus more contributions appearing to the global sustainable development goals. And at the side event, we've also used this picture of our action network as an add-on machine and as an auxiliary motor and resource pumping station to the UN system. And we have defined there some interfaces that are needed to be provided by the UN system in a coherent and UN system-wide way, so that these partnerships can really function coherently and effectively. So what is this post-2015 agenda? What is needed really to get young people engaged and this variety of stakeholders? And with this knowledge management focus, we say that the UN system, in order to be effective, needs to function as a learning organization. It is a continuous innovating and learning experience in which everybody on this planet should be involved, and it has a knowledge dimension, it has an information and communication technology dimension, because with the modern information and communication technologies, so much is possible in terms of empowerment of citizens, young people, to get engaged in the global public good. Resources are needed, institutional innovations are needed for local level entry points, and also sense of oneness and belonging to this global community is needed, which we think can be communicated by music, which again can be also regarded as a very soft type of knowledge. And we all know how difficult it is for the UN system to build the knowledge base, to invest in this resource base for science, technology, and innovation related to its work. Michael knows that ACUNS gets very little financial support of this advisory board to the Secretary General that has been installed at UNESCO, has almost no resources. Almost everybody here in the system has no resources, but resources are out there. There are the existing systems have now accumulated wealth in the hands of a few, and there are now new initiatives needed, a new culture of sharing of resources. And with our Global Challenges Action Network, we want to complement the governmental means of implementation for post-2015 agenda with activities in the field of knowledge collaboration, in cooperation with World We Want platform, with the management of social transformation platform of UNESCO. We want to have very ambitious resource mobilization targets, really in the dimensions of billions of euros, and we want to have channeled these resources towards this knowledge base for post-2015 agenda. There will be a Global Challenges Giving Pledge conference in June 2016 in Klagenfurt. And with these activities, we also want to help implement the World Programme on Action on Youth. We have strong activities in the field of communication of post-2015 agenda. John Crawley has mentioned it. We are preparing the next round of the Global Challenges Youth Music Contest at a workshop on the 23rd of April at UNESCO in Paris. And there will be then an official side event to the Bonn climate change negotiations early June, where the contest will be launched, and the presentation of the winners and also presentation of the post-2015 agenda and the work of the UN system, then at a show at UNESCO on the 5th of December during COP21. And we are working with partners in Istanbul, in West African countries, and also in some other places through setting up Global Challenges Youth and ICT centers. And also UN Habitat is supposed to be our partner with a view to UN Habitat 3 conference. And Joe has also related activities with its citizens, climate change engagement networks that we are also trying to connect to. Briefly, the resource mobilization intervention logic, so that you will see it's not just a very distant idea, but that we have a pathway outlined how we get there. So, as everybody is saying, this post-2015 agenda and COP21 are unique milestones in the human history, and through the partnership with UNESCO, and through UNESCO we have also the partnership with UNFCCC, we are in this governance space, we have legitimacy, and this makes us a good partner for public service broadcasters to deliver on their public service remit of informing their audiences about climate change and other global challenges. With this media partnerships, we can help the UN to reach out to young people and to the broader public. So this, our attractivity for UN system increases, and also as philanthropists ask for visibility in exchange for their involvement, such an event is also increasing our attractivity for philanthropists, that they come to the show and present themselves as a new global philanthropy leader. Through this we get young people and media engaged with the Global Youth Music Contest, and we are already targeting now some next generation global philanthropy leaders to step up here. And based on this, we are envisaging memorandums of understanding on resource mobilization with a view on the Global Challenges Giving Pledge Conference with UNESCO, hopefully also with UN Habitat, and perhaps also with the program on science, technology and innovation facilitation in least developed countries. Based on this, and in order to make these efforts work for the partnering agencies as well, there is a planned General Assembly resolution in which our efforts, resource mobilization efforts, are welcome by the General Assembly and the member states. Then there's the Global Challenges Giving Pledge Conference in June 2016 in Klagenfurt, where we will have a fundraising target of 100 million euros with a view to organizing an Expo 2022 in the triangle of the cities Klagenfurt, Ljubljana and Trieste. And once this starts, and if we get this Expo proposal also approved, then there should start competition between ideas and people and cities and universities aiming to present what they are doing for post-2015 agenda implementation, and infrastructure and standards development start. And for this whole 15-15-15 formula, the Expo 2022 is a point of arrival where innovative and big ICT infrastructure for a global participatory platform and planetary nervous system with the future ICT program of ETH Zurich shall be presented, and social innovations and things like this. The journey has begun. As I said, we have this workshop in Paris at UNESCO, we have our activities at Bonn conference and the concert. There is a preparatory meeting for the Global Challenges conference on the 27th of May, and you are welcome to join us on our journey towards creating a just and peaceful, sustainable world for all. And thank you for your attention.